Welcome to Salento with Love. I'm Davide Mengoli and I'm gonna walk through a palazzo. I know you were thinking I was gonna say the house. No, the palazzo, this beautiful building here in the background. Now you may think, what is a palazzo? Because is a palazzo a palace, a castle? Well, the literal translation would be palace, but it's not. A palazzo is very much a mansion, and back in the 1700s and 18th century, many of these palazzi were built around Salento because there was so much wealth. This is actually one of them. It belonged to a really wealthy family and now ready to become something completely different. Now, where are we? We're in a town called San Cesario di Lecce. The town in itself, it's the name in itself, di Lecce. It says of Lecce, because the distance between this town and the beautiful city of Lecce is only 5 kilometers. It means about 2.5 miles. You can almost walk to Lecce. So imagine owning a property here in San Cesario di Lecce and being so close to the Florence of the south. Good enough size, probably around about 8,000 people, and surrounded by extraordinary buildings that I would like to show to you. Before we go and walk through the palazzo, we want to go and discover really what San Cesario di Lecce is about, a little bit of the history, a little bit of the buildings that make this city one of the most beautiful cities, and also with one of the most beautiful churches in the whole of Salento. Let's go and have a look at it. I'm sure you have enjoyed the blue sky, but also what about the palazzos that we've seen, those statues, the church, the beautiful building and the palazzi, these mansions that we've seen scattered in this beautiful town. Now you think, such a small town, how can it contain so much beauty? Well, that's history. But now we are back, we have arrived, and I would like to share with you this extraordinary building. Now, it doesn't happen very often, but that I get the privilege to step inside so much history. Now, when you look at a property like this, yes, it's gone through some changes. Some areas may have been touched and retouched, but I also love the areas that haven't been touched for centuries. And we will focus on that. And incredible what you could potentially do with this kind of buildings. So let's step inside, and as we step inside, the sound changes. Now, from looking at the outside, this was probably a commercial area, shop, until probably the last 5 or 10 years. So some changes have been done, and probably some of the original features have been not lost, but potentially covered. So as we're coming through just the first area, we've got this star-shaped ceiling. And look at the height, we're probably looking at about 5 meters in height. And then these beautiful 2 rooms here, the bit over there, this another room over here. This was probably part of commercial space. Oh, with another great, I love when I see the layers of paint that have gone through maybe 70, 80, 100 years of painting over and over, and now leaving these patterns. And then some of these doors, some may be original, some that probably have gone through some changes, but it's nice to find them here. Wow. And I was looking at this space earlier. I wonder what this is, but this goes all the way up. This goes all the way up. So I believe that this, all the way down, which has been sealed, is probably a cistern. and they used to drop the bucket all the way from the top floors down here to pull the water. This is a shaft, it's not a fireplace, and this is a really high shaft. It goes all the way up, and it's been closed at the bottom, so pretty certain, yeah, there could be a cistern under here. Oh well, nice comfortable bathroom here. And isn't it incredible? Look, the thickness of the wall is so much that they've just literally carved a bathroom out from the supporting wall. But can you imagine what this could become in hands of somebody that really wants to bring back that beautiful element of the past? Now we're stepping into the yard. So the courtyard was a very important aspect of a property. I'm not going to turn around yet because what's behind me, well actually in front of me, it is an incredible feature that is part of this palazzo. But so many changes have happened to these buildings over centuries. Now, this is probably one of the most extraordinary parts of this building. Can you imagine having a small vintage car, actually a big vintage car, and living in here? It's covered and you've got a star-shaped ceiling with a cobblestone on the floor. This is not pietra leccese, this is actually cobblestone. And I love these details that you can see on the edge of the pillars. These are supporting the whole wall. This is pietra leccese, this is not carparo, so this wall can be cleaned up, exposing this very beautiful wall and walls that were built 200 years ago. So that's really what makes it really exciting. And this is the big door. We're gonna go and see that one from the outside with a big knocker. Yes, well, I mean, you know what I mean. I mean that thing that you use to knock on the door. That's what I meant. There is one attached to the door here, original. Then we have a little door there. We're gonna go and explore that, leading to the floor upstairs. I did say this was a labyrinth, a really large building that needs vision. But then what you're gonna get out of it, it's an incredible palazzo mansion here on the doorstep of Lecce, the beautiful Florence of the south. Now, can I turn around and show you where I was telling you earlier? You just step inside your palazzo and look at that. Wow. Is that a family crest? Isn't that amazing? And you see that bit here? This is how they used to do good things in them days. They used to do pretty things. That's the downpipe for the rainwater, but is all in cotto, is all in terracotta. And then it's actually been covered to make it pretty. So this was maybe the main grand entrance to the building, the palace, the mansion. Isn't that incredible? I'm excited. You know, when I come into these buildings, and I did say I dress up for the occasion because this was a house of very wealthy people. You need to dress up. It doesn't matter that the house is in the state that it is. It's still a palazzo. So you've got to dress up. Look at this family crest. Isn't that incredible? I mean, you will actually go under this beautiful sign. Can you imagine what this courtyard is going to be like? Special. But this is not the only outside space. But let's go inside. I can't wait to step in because we are stepping in history. This is the part of the building that hasn't been touched or tampered with for probably, I would say, since it was built, maybe. Oh my God. Already just this, if I could just take it away as it is. Well, this has got nothing to do with the Banksy. Yeah, you know Banksy, the graffiti painter? Yeah, well, I love Banksy work, but I would rather this in my house than a Banksy. Look, can you imagine once you just take a little bit of dust off and you seal this and you leave it? It's better than an fresco. This is layers of 150 years, 200 years. And look at some of these details. This is better than an abstract painting. This is time. And then all these little spaces that they used to create to store things. And this is just the first room. I think we should go this way And again, we're entering into a room. Oh yes, I forgot to mention the floor. This is like, it's not even cementine. This is before, this is like a cotto. Now you've got to remember that this town, San Cesario di Lecce, as we have seen outside by wandering the streets, this was a Roman town. So probably some of the areas and some of these parts of these buildings, they go back to Roman time, or the same techniques. So when you come across a floor like this, which is actually a pure cotto, very thick terracotta tiles, then we're not looking at a repro, we are looking at the real thing. Can you imagine, polish these up, probably, unfortunately, we lose some of the areas. There is a bit of cement here in the middle here because they brought the sewer in, so they had to break it all up, and probably they didn't think very much about saving the tiles. But I'm sure a lot of it can be saved and utilized to create a really special environment. So I think we should go through there now. Wow, it's like we're stepping back in time. We're going from the cotto tiles to big stone slabs. Well, this is before the cotto, this is before the cementine, the cotto tiles. We're even before that, and we got these massive slabs. But again, look at this patina. Well, I'm not suggesting that should stay, but just cleaning it up and doing something by saving this beauty. And then, you know, you come across features like this. We've got a set of stairs here going up, but where do they go up to? Nowhere. It's been blocked up there, but surely because it's the same part of the building, they probably went to the upstairs floor, or maybe a hidden room, what used to be the kitchen. I mean, now today we turn the gas on, we turn the electrics on, and we can cook. But look at this. This is a huge, wow. This is a huge fireplace. It still has the signs of where they used to. Oh, look. This is where they used to put the pots and cook, and probably the fire under there. Lovely, these details. Look at this little room up there. But what I really, really incredibly like, again, is this patina that has been built over centuries. And then from here we can go into this other room. And it's room upon room upon room with features, and then we're out into a beautiful courtyard. All done in paved stone. And another room. Oh, I wonder when pink came into fashion. Wow, that's interesting. And look at this detail here. This is not wallpaper, this is actually painted on the wall. This is incredibly detailed, all this little pattern. They probably used to use kind of a stencil back in the days already to reproduce this. Incredibly large, the whole of this floor here on the ground floor. And who lived there? What was it like to live in a building like this, full of rooms? Probably they had servants, they had other people living and sharing, members of the family, or just an extended family, although the idea of extending families in them days was different than today, but probably just a large family. And then upstairs was always called the noble floor, the floor where the really wealthy people lived. Maybe the same people that belonged to the family, but they were probably the owners of this mansion, of this palazzo. But here we have a set of stairs in the yard leading up. And we've got to be careful because they've got a little bit of a green mold that's grown over it where the sun doesn't shine. Yes, you probably heard that expression before. The sun doesn't shine somewhere. But look, and we're entering. Well, obviously this was a room, and the roof, it's been lost and it's gone. But it could become a really lovely solarium, an area to relax and chill out. Maybe not when the dog is barking, but that's all right. We always have a fix for everything here in Salento. No, I'm only joking. I love animals. Isn't it beautiful to be outside here? Oh yes, today I forgot to mention 19th of February. I probably have mentioned it before. I can't remember while I was walking through the town. But it's 18 degrees and it's hot, and we're still in February. And what's incredible is that only a few days ago we had 5-6 degrees. this cold spell came through, but thank God it only came through, and we pushed it away to north of Italy. Here we're back to the sun and we're getting ready to welcome spring. So that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people love Puglia, because of the beautiful weather and the incredible architecture that can be found. So I think now we're gonna go outside, have a look at the outside of the building, and then we explore the upstairs. Before we go upstairs, remember I was talking about the knocker, not the knocker that you're thinking, but a door knocker. Now, do you know that there is an incredible history around door knockers? Sometimes we put our hands on it and we don't even realize what we are doing. But the Athenians, over 2,000 years ago, they created something that looked like this, but the usage wasn't actually to enter into someone's property, but it was actually to tie a chain and keep a slave by the door that could welcome the guests. It was only later that the same thing was adopted and turned into a door knocker. Now, for the British public, the lion or the lion head, it was a very symbolic symbol. In fact, number 10 Downing Street, if you want to get in and see Mr. Prime Minister, you will have to knock on the lion's head, meaning strength, power, wealth. Door knocker was very much a symbol rather than something that was used to ask for access to the building. So many changes and so much beauty. So should we go up? It's interesting, already you got like a big step going up, but surely the access to the upstairs back in the days could have been directly. Remember that door that we saw earlier? Look, we're back in the courtyard. So maybe this was the access to the upstairs. People didn't need to see when you came in with your cart that you were going upstairs. And I love details like this. This is solid brass, probably 1950s, beautiful. Or I would say earlier, it's got a very much of an Art Deco feel. So we have arrived upstairs, and we can decide if we want to go left or if we're going to want to go right. But also we have a beautiful Juliet balcony here. I won't put my head through there, or actually should I? That's glass. It could be like a guillotine, really. Romeo, Romeo. No, there's no one there. Look at this beautiful little feature. So probably was used just to communicate with the downstairs family, all part of the same family. But anyway, we're up here now and we're gonna go right. We're entering this beautiful first room. I love the shape of these ceilings. They're very Gothic. They are star-shaped ceiling, but because they are narrow, they have created almost this squeezed effect, creating this closed corner looking like a Gothic style. And as we're going through into this beautiful room, I love these details on the doors. A couple of, well, these are definitely not really old, but they've probably been left there to protect the house. That's Mother Mary. Remember the balcony that we saw from the street? Well, that's the first balcony over there. And as we're coming through here, oh yes, we got the stairs going to the roof. Yes, because you know we've got the whole of the roof to explore. This and the view that we're going to see from the roof. Oh, this is beautiful. Now the green that you're seeing, yes, some infiltration of water, but I always say when you have a star-shaped ceiling, never worry about infiltration, because there is no cement, there is no metal, it's pure stone. And it's only because the maintenance of the floor above hasn't been done. And I know something about it because we're actually doing some maintenance at the moment on a big palazzo. So isn't this beautiful, very spacious, and the balcony. We're now stepping outside. And actually what I love about being out here on the balcony, this is all cast iron. This beautiful detail here. Look, this is so, the irregularity on this metalwork is not straight. It wasn't cut with any instruments that are allowed to make a clean cut. So it's all wavy, telling you that all this was actually hand done. And look at the details above the door. Again, once that is polished, it would bring out some beautiful details of the family. Now, these walls, beautiful. This is actually pietra leccese, it's not carporo. They don't need to be plastered, they don't need to be painted. So once they get sandblasted and clean, you'll have a real clean, polished facade. Very contemporary as well. It's not too ornate, just right. It's what I love the most. Can you see all these lines within the stone? Well, these were quarried. They didn't have chainsaws, or they didn't have anything cutting. They didn't have diamond discs. This was actually done one by one. These quarries, which are incredible to see today, still functioning, but obviously using modern techniques, were pulling out these massive blocks. And you can imagine a guy could only do probably 10 to 15 blocks in one day of 10 hours work, just stacking away. And so exposing this and cleaning it, it would also give you an idea that here we're looking at something late 17, mid 18, where because machinery wasn't yet there to actually allow to do the work. That for me, it's an incredible piece. So as we step inside and we leave that blue sky above there to, yeah, I haven't painted it, it's actually blue. Yes, really, really blue. We're going back inside. I must admit, it's a bit colder inside than what it is outside, because obviously the sun out there is really beating and is making it really nice and warm. And these houses with these star-shaped ceilings being so high, they're nice and fresh and very cool. So we have another small room here. So it's quite interesting how this place is kind of a big square divided into rooms. And do you know, if we would have turned left from the stairs coming up here, remember the Romeo and Juliet balcony? We would have ended up exactly in this space here. So it can be split into two areas, left and right wing, both of them with their own balconies. Oh, another room in here. Oh, this is not just a room. I know it's very dark and I'm not sure if you can see what's in here, but it's a big fireplace. Yeah, it's just been sealed. And you see the sign of the time? This was a door. Look, it's been bricked up and closed. So these two rooms were together, or probably this was one big room, but this is definitely a door that led to the room next to. Yeah, well, we can't see. Oh, yes, we can see it a little bit over here as well. Oh, that's interesting. So these two rooms were connected, and the fireplace was bringing the heat through the house. So we're just going up a few steps to enter a really big, spacious, yes, the echo. Love it, because of the star-shaped ceiling. If I move to the side, the echo is a lot less. If you are in the center, it creates that really beautiful acoustics. And a window leading to the private courtyard, and another door bringing the light from the back of the house, and a level terrace. Now, how rare it is to have a first floor with the level terrace. That adds to the day living. You can be here, but then you can have coffee outside, you can read a book, you can just chill out, relax, sunbathe if you want to. But then we are very close to the sea. Did I say that? We're only about 8 kilometers from the sea. So what a fantastic location. This deserves to probably be taken off and hang on the wall as a collectible piece. The details are incredible. That's the Juliet balcony. We've come up a few steps and we're into this upper floor. This was probably a kitchen. Oh, we have a fantastic modern bathroom. Well, I'm not too sure about modern. This is just magic, you know, to be at the middle of February, 19th of February, and to step outside and to have the heat and the blue sky is priceless. And to be so close to the city of Lecce, you could cycle there, spend the day, come back and live in a beautiful palazzo with a family. Or maybe turn this palazzo into something else. It could be a small hotel. It would be quite interesting. A small boutique hotel. Why not? And one thing that caught my eye when I was outside here was this. W il Re. That stands for Viva, Hooray to the King. So this was probably done prior to the 1940s, when Italy still had Vittorio Emanuele as a king in this country. So I thought that's quite a nice thing that needs to stay, and it marks the time of this property, and also the political inclination that the people that lived here had potentially, because that could have been done at the time when Mussolini kicked the king out. So in that period of time. Anyway, enough of the history, and we just want to go back and have a little quick scan as we're walking through, and then finish it off outside. Back in them days, the roof gardens, or the roofs, not gardens, the roofs were only used to probably hang the washing, or just to search and look for enemies approaching the town, really a long time ago. Now, a lot of these roofs have become a fantastic feature on some of these properties. Very elegant rooftops. Some people introducing as well water features. We are on the roof of a palazzo. Hundreds of years of history, undisturbed. I love that wall. Look at that feature. It reminds me when I was in Petra in Jordan. They have a lot of walls there built in this particular way. That's kind of an incredible piece of architecture. Very impressive. And we've got stairs going up here, so we can go even higher. Can you imagine what you can do with this rooftop? And look at the view. Yeah, the view is just very, very special. A 360 around will give you a good idea of how beautiful this town is. There's so many churches and bell towers in the distance that I can see. The splendid architecture, the blue sky. This must be some of the key elements of what makes Salento the place to be. This is the courtyard that we were looking at earlier. Look how huge it is, including that room space over there, while you are surrounded with the real Baroque architecture. Well, what a better way of ending this. Bells in the background, midday, time for lunch. But can you imagine what it would be like to live in Salento under this blue sky and become part of the history of some of these buildings that they're waiting to return to their full glory? I hope you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Bells in the background that are going. We are going as well. We are doing some incredible things here in Salento. Thank you very much for following the channel. Leave a comment and please stay safe wherever you are.